There are more AI surveillance cameras protecting private estates in America right now than most countries have, watching their entire borders.
You've probably seen the black poles with solar panels on them at the entrance to a neighborhood or a gas station parking lot, and not thought twice. Most people assume they're traffic cameras. They're not. They're part of a private, AI-powered surveillance network. One that scans every car that passes, logs the plate, color, and model, and sometimes additional visual details like distinctive markings, storing it all in a searchable database. And while that network was built and sold as a public safety tool, it isn't limited to high-crime areas or police jurisdictions. Homeowners associations, including many affluent gated communities, have been among its customers since the beginning. This is the story of how surveillance technology built for public safety quietly became a luxury security amenity, and what that means for everyone else living under the same cameras without the same protection. What this tech actually is. Let's break down what AI surveillance means in practice, because it's more than just a camera on a pole. Automated license plate recognition, or ALPR. Cameras that photograph every passing vehicle and use AI to log plate numbers, make, model, and color automatically, without a person watching. PTZ cameras pan, tilt, zoom. Autonomous units that can track movement and zoom in on a subject, without a human operator. Gunfire detection sensors. Acoustic sensors that use AI to identify gunshots and triangulate their location in real time. Biometric access systems. Facial recognition, fingerprint, or retina scanning used at gates and entrances. Anomaly detection. Newer AI camera systems don't just record. Some are trained to flag behavior that looks unusual, like a car idling too long, or someone approaching on foot at 3 a.m. Individually, none of this is new. What's changed is the scale, the automation, and who's paying for it. The Flock Safety Case Study. The company at the center of this shift is called Flock Safety. Founded in Atlanta in 2017, it's now valued at about $8.4 billion, up from $7.5 billion a year earlier. It has deployed more than 100,000 cameras across the United States, more than any single law enforcement agency controls on its own. Flock's pitch is simple: give neighborhoods, HOAs, and municipalities a plug-and-play surveillance network, and let AI do the sorting. Homeowners associations, including gated, high-income communities, were among Flock's earliest customers, and remain a significant segment, alongside the more than 5,000 police departments it now serves. But the company has also become the center of a growing backlash. In one documented case, over 250 agencies that had never signed a data-sharing agreement ran roughly 600,000 unauthorized searches of a single city's license plate data over 12 months. Agencies found accessing that data included the ATF, the U.S. Air Force, and a federal inspector general's office, none of whom were supposed to have access. The ACLU has publicly warned that Flock's network amounts to a nationwide mass surveillance system, with very little oversight on how the data gets used, shared, or sold. The privacy paradox. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The same technology activists are fighting as an invasive, unaccountable surveillance system. Is the technology private? Wealthy communities are installing at their own gates for their own protection. Civil liberties groups have spent years warning that this kind of camera network erodes privacy for the general public. Meanwhile, in gated communities and private estates, that same network gets rebranded as a premium security feature, with far less public scrutiny over who's watching and why. It's the same cameras, the same AI, the same data pipeline, just a different set of people, deciding it's worth the trade-off. The Ring and Flock story. This tension became public in a very visible way earlier this year. Amazon's Ring, the home doorbell camera company, announced a deal with Flock in October 2025 that would have let Ring users share footage with Flock's network for investigations. That same month, reporting surfaced that agencies including ICE, the Secret Service, and the Navy had access to parts of Flock's broader network through local customers' data sharing settings, not through the Ring deal itself, which never launched. In February 2026, Ring canceled the planned integration. The company cited resource demands, though the move is widely seen as a response to the mounting backlash. No Ring footage was ever actually shared with Flock. Both companies maintain they don't work directly with ICE. But the episode showed how quickly a neighborhood safety feature can become entangled with a much larger, much less transparent surveillance pipeline, and how even major tech companies are starting to distance themselves from it. Transition to next part. So if the technology is the same and the controversy is the same, what actually is different about how the ultra-wealthy use it? That's next. The scale of the market. So who's actually buying into this level of security? More people than you'd think. According to the Knight Frank Wealth Report, the global population of ultra-high net worth individuals, people with assets above $30 million, hit over 713,000 in 2026. The United States alone holds the largest share of that group, roughly a third, and its portion of global UHNW wealth is projected to keep growing. That's a lot of high-value residential properties, concentrated in a relatively small number of markets, all needing some version of the same thing: protection that scales with the size of the target. And increasingly, the answer isn't more guards. It's more autonomy. The shift from guards to autonomous systems. For decades, estate security meant a guard shack, a perimeter fence, and maybe a few cameras. That model is being replaced. Managed drone programs are increasingly adopted over traditional guard deployments at large private properties, especially for covering wide outdoor footprints. Instead of a person walking a fence line every few hours, a drone can provide continuous outdoor perimeter coverage, launch automatically when a ground sensor is triggered, and give real-time aerial video, all without a predictable patrol pattern a would-be intruder could study and exploit. One real example. A private 2-acre estate now runs a rooftop drone dock that launches an autonomous patrol every hour, flies the property's perimeter in about 4 minutes, and returns to recharge. No on-site pilot required. Over 12 months, that cycle ran more than 8,000 times. When 2 delivered packages went missing during a renovation, it was the drone's flight footage, not a fixed camera, that identified who took them and when. The next step already in development for that same system. Event-triggered dispatch. So the drone launches immediately when motion is detected at the gate, instead of waiting for its next scheduled flight. A publicly reported example. Some of this has been reported. On the record. According to Finance Monthly's 2025 coverage of billionaire security spending, Mark Zuckerberg's Palo Alto home is equipped with panic rooms, biometric scanners, anti-drone technology, and AI perimeter monitoring. He also owns a large fortified estate in Kauai, Hawaii, where a dedicated international security team maintains round-the-clock surveillance. The reporting also notes that his day-to-day activities, surfing, heli-skiing, hydrofoiling, are ALPR-approved and scouted by trained security professionals in advance. As one security executive put it, in that piece, hiring for this tier of protection now goes well beyond traditional bodyguards, into specialists trained in things like wilderness rescue and water safety. That's the through line for this entire story. The same AI systems being protested in public as unaccountable mass surveillance are, at the top of the wealth ladder, just standard equipment. So here's where it leaves us. The technology that put your neighborhood on a searchable, AI-sorted database is the same technology guarding some of the most expensive real estate in the country. One version is being fought in city council meetings and courtrooms. The other is being marketed as a lifestyle upgrade. Same cameras, same AI, 2 very different sets of rules. If you want to see whether cameras like these are already in your neighborhood, the DFlock project maintains a public, crowdsourced map. Links in the description.